A dystopia, as defined by the story of Harrison Bergeron and A Brave New World, can be characterized by its futuristic and oppressive societal control through illusion of the perfect society, and maintained through corporate or totalitarian control. The most common traits behind a dystopian fiction would most likely be a ruler or oppressor with absolute power, conformity, a protagonist who fights for change, and an ending that leaves the readers questioning. And although these traits were the same throughout both stories, the main characters in each handled them very differently. While John at first could handle in a utopia that, with his mother attempting to adapt to his new home, he did what the people wanted or tried to, but he then soon began to understand and cooperate less and less. Gradually, he began acting more and more distressed, agitated, and with Lenina often trying to sleep with him and the passing of his mother, he became hostile to the strange world he lived in. He failed to fit in and failed to overthrow the utopia, faulty rebellion. All he left were questions for the readers to come to a conclusion on their own accord. While on the other hand, Harrison Bergeron had a far less passive approach when it came to his opinion. He never truly fit in as a kid. He possessed above average intelligence and strength, which meant he had to suffer through handling more weights than usual, which were used to weigh down people who were stronger than the average person, and more intense intellectual inhibitors such as wavy goggles designed to give him a headache, and earmuffs with constantly producing sound to scatter his thoughts. But on top of all that, what truly made him different was his rebellious nature. It would often get him into a lot of trouble that endangered both himself and anyone who admired him. He soon had enough of the world he lived in. He wanted to change. So he escaped the prison that he was held in for so long and tried to spark a rebellion, catching public attention to drive his message. He attempted to encourage others to liberate themselves. Ultimately, we are given an unconfirming conclusion as he sacrifices his life to drive the message to people's hearts, to compel them to change. Unfortunately, it can be assumed that he ended up failing to liberate people on the broadcast because his own parents soon forgot his message after being shot to death before their very eyes. As far as personal opinions, I believe the title for the most heroic character out of the two would have to be Harrison Bergeron. He took the most initiative when he attempted to free everyone from the illusion of being completely equal and showing the beauty of being extraordinary, even sacrificing himself to get his message heard. And although he was portrayed in a villainous manner when he claimed to be the Emperor, I believe he is intentionally trying to make himself appear more powerful. So the audience cooperates with him, listens to his demands, because he's challenging beliefs of an entire nation, which can be met with a lot of resistance. And though his story was cut short, it shows more initiative, boldness, and bravery. In the case of John, he gave up and ended up killing himself.